If you think you know music, janitor, why don't you come teach us all? That was the line that cracked through the quiet like a whip. I was halfway through wiping down the brass railing in the Monarch City Symphony Hall when I said it well, more like mumbled it, that the bow should have pulled across the D string, not hovered. I didn't mean for anyone to hear. It just slipped out like breathing. But someone did hear. From the shadows of the first row, a tall woman in a razor-sharp suit turned to face me. Madison Cross, the CEO. Her heels clicked down the aisle like a metronome as she got closer. "Tell me, Mr. Harper," I said. "Mr. Harper, are you an expert in bowing technique now?" I shook my head. "Just noticed something, ma'am." She smirked, one eyebrow raised. "Noticed something. And you... What mop better when Bruch is played right?" I gave a small smile that didn't reach my eyes. Some things just stay in your ear whether you want them to or not. She studied me, then laughed under her breath. "If you can play Bruch as well as you critique it, I'll hand you the deed to this hall." And with that, she turned away. She didn't know it, but she just lit a match in a room I'd kept locked for 12 years. That night, I went home to my apartment over on Maple Street. My daughter Lily was still awake, cross-legged on the couch hair, all tangled from sleep. She grinned. "Did the violin whisper to you today?" "Maybe," I said, glancing up at the old case on the shelf. "Maybe it's waiting," she said, "for someone to listen, like Mom used to say." My chest tightened. Her mother had been the real musician, the one who made me believe the world was softer than it was. Losing her... Well, I packed my violin away and decided the world could go on without my music. I played Lily a lullaby that night, one her mum used to play for her after her heart surgery. She closed her eyes and asked, "Why do you only play for me because the world stopped listening?" Or maybe she said quietly, "You stopped letting it." 3 nights later, the hall was buzzing. The governor, 2 senators pressed from everywhere. They'd all come for a concert headlined by world-class soloist Julian Hart. But an hour before curtain chaos hit, Julian had been caught up in a train station accident, detained as a witness. No way he'd make it. Madison paced the corridor, barking orders, ready to cut the brush entirely. That's when her assistant, Erin, piped up. "There's one person who knows it. By heart." Madison turned slowly. "If you're about to say who I think, you're about to say the janitor," Erin said. "The one you sparred with last week." He wasn't guessing Madison. He knew. Madison's jaw clenched. "You want me to put a mop and bucket guy on stage in front of the entire city?" "You don't have another option," Erin said softly. Minutes later, Madison found me on the mezzanine. "Harper, I'm going to ask you something reckless. Our soloist's gone. I've been told you can play this piece." "Is it true?" I looked her straight in the eye. "If I do it?" "My daughter sits in the front row." She hesitated, then nodded. "She'll have the best seat in the house." When I walked out under those lights, still in my work boots and janitor's shirt, the audience murmured. I ignored them. The conductor raised his baton and I drew the first note. It wasn't perfect. My fingers were rusty. The bow wavered, but the sound... It came from somewhere deeper than memory. Every shift, every vibrato carried pieces of my wife's laughter, my daughter's heartbeat, the life I'd tried to forget. By the time the last note dissolved, the hall was silent for half a breath. Then they were on their feet. I didn't bow for them. I bowed for Lily, grinning and crying in the front row. The next morning, my picture was on the front page. The janitor who played like he was born on stage. Madison showed up at my door with the paper. She'd done some digging. "Evan Harper," she said, "you were supposed to debut with the London Philharmonic at 17. Why disappear?" I stared past her at the snow outside, because sometimes the only way to survive a fire is to walk away from the ashes. A week later, Lily collapsed at school. Her heart condition had worsened. The surgery would cost 6 figures money I didn't have. Madison came to the hospital. "Let's start something," she said. "A concert series, Strings for Hope." Every dollar goes to kids like Lily. I didn't trust my voice enough to answer, but I nodded. The first concert wasn't for elites. It was for the people who'd never set foot in that hall, hospital, nurses, janitors, school kids. I played while Lily watched from her hospital bed, smiling through the live stream. Madison and I started rehearsing together for the next show. Somewhere between the second movement and the coffee breaks, she admitted she'd spent her whole life chasing her father's approval, terrified of missing a note. "You play life like that." I told her. But sometimes the most beautiful music lives between the notes, in the silence, in the mess. The night Lily was well enough to leave the hospital, she stood backstage holding her own little violin. "What if I can't finish the song?" she whispered. "Then we stop. Breathe and start again," I said. Madison offered to join us on piano, and so, in front of an audience that had come to see a janitor, a child with a mended heart and a CEO rediscovering hers, we played. Halfway through, Lily missed a note and froze. Madison's voice floated from the piano. The silence is part of the music too. Lily smiled, lifted her bow, and kept going stronger, freer. When we finished, the applause didn't start right away. It was quiet, reverent, and then it rolled in like a wave. Lily stepped forward and said, "This was my mum's favourite song. I think she heard us tonight." Months later, the Monarch Hall closed its gilded doors for good, not in shame, but to make way for something new, a small music academy on the edge of the city. That's where I teach now. Not as maestro, just Mr. Harper. Madison runs the place with me. On Fridays, we stay late playing duets until the sun dips low and the students' laughter fades from the halls. The other day, Lily ended a piece with a flourish I didn't expect. "You let me lead the ending," she beamed. "You didn't lead it," I told her. "You completed it." And I realized maybe that's what this whole thing was about. Completing the song I thought I'd left unfinished. So, tell me, if you walked past someone every day without really seeing them, and one day they stepped into the light, would you listen? Would you believe they belong there? Or would you still see the uniform instead of the person? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me if you think the world listens enough, or if we all need to tune our ears a little better.